Today's podcast is brought to you by StrongHeartAcademy.com, where no heart is no victory. We are also brought to you by BJJ To Go. If you want to build your game and learn jiu-jitsu, go to bjjtogo.com. Third thing we're brought to you by is Rat Bat. You got rats? Want to kill bats? Kill them with a rat bat. Fourth thing we're brought to you by is hot dog flavored water ingredients. If you want to add it to your smoothie, hot dog flavor ingredient. Okay, so I want to talk about dyslexia today. I've had learning disabilities since I was a little kid. And I remember never knowing what they're called. Just like, you have a learning disability. But can I, the older I get, it's like, if I knew the definition of what it was, then could we work on that? And I remember in school, they just seemed like they had no plan of how to teach you differently than what the plan is for all the kids. And that's what they do in school. They just kind of stick everyone together, and then hopefully you all learn this certain way. And if not, we have this extra stupid class that you can go into. So I went into the stupid class, and I was king of the stupids, I guess. I don't know. I was getting straight A's, and I'm like, this is easy. I don't need you to dumb it down. I need you to teach me how to teach myself. Teach me how to learn what everyone else is learning. And I just feel like there was a disconnect to that. He can't handle the other stuff, so let's just make it easier. I'm like, that's not helping me at all. It literally didn't help me at all. So one day I was just I told my mom, I'm like, I don't want to be in that class. I'm just gonna have to outwork everyone else in class. And that's literally what I did. I started to get good grades in just a regular class. Now, I had some problems where the other thing, and I think they're better at it now, but a lot of the classes, I would change classes. I would go in the special class or whatever they called it, and the regular teacher would just be teaching random things that I was supposed to know, like cursive. I never really learned cursive because they were teaching cursive while I was learning, English or math in the other class. I'd come back and I wouldn't know anything. I'm like, I didn't take a lesson. So they just didn't even coordinate back then. I'm like, what? These teachers just... everyone says, the teachers aren't getting paid enough. I'm like, well, maybe that's why you're not getting good teachers, because I had a ton of terrible teachers. I had so many terrible teachers. They just didn't know they weren't good at their job. And it's like you're not supposed to say that about teachers, like they're sacred or something. There's probably a billion. Maybe I just had bad luck. And there was a millions great teachers, and they just weren't around me, because I had a ton of teachers that were bad. And then, anyway, so I found out how I learn, and I literally taught myself. I give all the credit to myself. I give no credit to any of my teachers. None of my teachers were like these savior teachers that in the movies, they care about the ghetto kids or something. There used to be a ton of those teachers. I once had a teacher in high school that was a math teacher, and I had him 2 years in a row, and I really struggled with math, and he helped me a lot. He would stay after class and try to help me, and on his free time, that guy was pretty awesome. But math is even harder than English for me. And then I realized later on that I could read certain things pretty well, but when I would write, I have a disconnect where I would write a word, and then the word was omitted. So I call it word omission. I don't know what the real word is. But I'll see it if you ever look at my Facebook posts. I do it all the time. There's words missing, so the sentence is broken up. It doesn't make sense because the words are missing. I will read what I wrote, proofread, and in my mind it's there, and I'll do it again. Only if I go away from it and come back to it do I see it. So it's almost like I should rewrite, wait a certain amount of time, come back to it and reread it, and then fix my mistakes, which is, difficult and time consuming. And that's like a type of like 5 drafts type of thing. So, man, when we start doing writing composition, I had really struggled with that. And words, of missing letters that in my mind, I knew the letter. In my mind, I knew the word. Something happens between my mind and my hands, and it just is not there. It's typing, it's writing, it doesn't matter. So I don't know if that's even dyslexia. I think it's a type of dyslexia, actually. One of my friends here, he says his daughter, they're doing this stuff where like colors, if the letters are red or blue, or certain kids can read red and blue, and the dyslexia literally goes away, which is crazy. Something like in your brain is just off. But I've never like really stopped me from doing things. I'll still do things. It just sucks when you're writing and it's gibberish. I once had a English composition class in high school, and there's a German foreign exchange student in front of me, and she could write better than me. And like, I thought it was like funny and kind of ironic, but also kind of sad that she was like better at English, and it's her second language. And she's like, well, I grew up, doing English, since I was a little kid. And I was like, yeah, but like I was born here. I should, I think maybe maybe their English is better, or their teachers are better, and maybe she was just a bright woman, or a bright girl, whatever. But I always thought that was funny, like this German girl was better at English than me. And she still had an accent, which is funny. But like when she wrote, you don't write in accents. You just write, I used to get mad when people would like correct me, but like it's wrong. So I don't know why I would be mad that it's correct. It's incorrect. Incorrect is incorrect. It's like if I'm teaching a move to somebody and they kind of have to it. Like, well, it's not right. So I have to tell you that it's wrong. It's, sometimes you can get by, I guess, with a move half done. But you should be trying to do it at the highest level. So last year I tried to find a psychologist to help me see if there's any like therapies you could do. There are no adult learning disability people in Arizona. I couldn't find any, at least not on Google. They were all like only for kids. I'm like, well, I want to fix, I want to see if I can work on this. If there's some sort of therapy I can fix it with, electromagnetic therapy. I have no idea. There's a ton of stuff out there now, but it seems like it's all over the map, and they only wanted to work with kids. And then I tried to book an appointment with one, and they were like, oh, well, yeah, we only do kids, I'm like, well, like juvenile learning disabilities. I'm like, well, I'm not, what, you can't even help me now? Like, I can't pay, I have money, you want to, so I just abandoned it. I probably should go back and try to see if I can do it again, but, I believe in trying to work on yourself and try to get better, and I don't try to ever use it as an excuse to like, oh, I can't do something. I just do it anyway or try harder. But it is annoying, and it's like a hiccup, like it just slows me down. I don't like to be slowed down. I don't have patience. So, but I see people all the time with like, try to use stuff as like a crutch, like, oh, I can't do that because of this. I'm like, well, I mean, I'm not missing any limbs, but like, language is pretty important, and that's difficult for me. Mathematics was really, really hard, and I kind of looked it up one time. There's a dyslexia that involves mathematics. I don't remember the name of it, but you have the same problem, and math is precise. So English technically is pretty precise. There's a structure to a sentence, but mathematics, if you get one number off, everything is off. So I've really struggled with math. A lot of people like math because there's just there is only one answer. There's no interpretation in math. It is what it is. Yeah, so like in high school when I was trying to do math, and I even had that really good teacher, I like passed with like a D+ or a C, and I was like I had tutor. I was staying up late trying to get all my math work done. But when I'd have to take tests, like it was just like couldn't get it done. I couldn't. I would be terrible on tests, and then it would average out to like a C because I did all my work. And I think I would try to do like extra work too, just to get my numbers up. But I'm willing to work harder than most people that even didn't get good grades because they just didn't want to do the work. So, I think work ethic goes just as far in life as knowing the answers sometimes. Because sometimes the people that know the answers, they just aren't willing to work, which is crazy to me because that's the easiest thing. That's just effort. And when you already know the answers, that's like a free thing that life gives you. You don't have to work at that. So, I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys, my struggles with school and dyslexia. So if you ever read my post, you're like, what is this guy talking about? If I don't proofread it a million times, and I guess that's laziness on my part too, not fixing it after I go back and fix it all the time, but usually it gets out there first, and then I read. Like I said, I go back to it. It's like a weird thing. I can read it, and I can read it again, and I can read it again. It looks fine to me. I'll walk away from it, come back, and then it's like, what is that? That doesn't even make sense. So I don't know how to fix that though. I would love if anyone out there, if you subscribe or whatever, comment or let me know anyone that that does dyslexia therapy or is willing to work with adults. That's also think it's weird that like psychologists aren't willing to work with adults. They're like, no, I'm a juvenile psychologist. Is that like a law or something? Maybe it's a law. I don't know. Like, who's enforcing that law too? Is there a special task force for like enforcement of? I guess they could probably lose their license, maybe. But who the heck who is enforcing these things? Nobody. And I just want help. I don't want. I'm not trying to take advantage of anything, buddy. Anyway, if you guys know anybody, let me know. Peace.
Let me talk for just a second, help me feel that sense of rhythm. Find the meanings in our bearings and discover this position as a stage along the way. Another rung to the ladder, either stalling or you're climbing, and I'd rather be the latter. Instead of getting fatter, let the footsteps resume naturally.